really toxic stuff coming from the Democrats. Defending black masses, making fun of God as an elected official. It's just that's not going to play in Peoria. You don't need to take my word for it. Even Gavin Newsom, who is one of the leading contenders for the Democrat nomination for president next cycle, he says the Democrat brand is toxic.
These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high water mark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. It's dropped in the NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make sense. And I think with this podcast and having the opportunity to dialogue with people I disagree with, it's an opportunity to try to find common ground and not take cheap shots. I'm not looking to put a spoke in the wheel of their, or at least a crowbar in the spokes of their wheel to trip them up, to your point. And I think it's important. Democrats, we tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. This notion of cancel culture, you've been living it. You've been on the receiving end of it for years and years and years. That's real. And Democrats need to own up to that.
This is the clearest sign yet of something that I at least was calling some weeks ago. I think a number of other people figured it out too. Newsom is having his sister soldier moment. He's having his big pivot here. He's disavowing the far left of his party, and he's going to position himself as the centrist for the presidential cycle. That's kind of funny because Newsom has been on the bleeding edge of the left side of his party for decades at this point. So why the pivot? Because he sees which way the winds are blowing. If you want to know how to run a government, don't ask Gavin Newsom. But if you want to know how to win an election, the guy's actually got some insight.